Hotep family, this is your RBG brother, Guy Nollywood Jr., and I'm coming at you with another exclusive, real, hardcore video. And the name of this program is The Misconception of the Movie Comic Black Panther. And the reason why I came up with this topic, because there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of hate among the from these coonish neverlutionaries. As you know, the sequel, Black Panther, the comic book Black Panther, the sequel is coming, is in the making. So I'm definitely looking forward of the sequel. And I heard that Killmonger is definitely coming back, which is good. So, and I hope he reunites with his cousin T'Challa. So I'm hoping they would have them join forces. But this is directly towards the coonish neverlutionaries who don't travel, that don't read anything, that don't believe in scholarship, that don't believe in science. So those are the people that I'm directing this to. I'm going to screen share some things to really prove my point, because some things need to be said, and I have to, some things, and I have to address some things. So let me start off with this. Let me see something. Okay, let me screen share this. All right. Now, as you can see, if you saw all the Thor movies, and I heard a lot of criticism. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because I heard a lot of criticism of the Black Panther, right? I heard these neverlutionaries, they always talking about, oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, right? Let's look at the Thor movies. I think Thor movies, they made 3 of them, very good movies. But I never heard any white nationalists start talking about, oh, I hate the Thor movies because Thor is not attacking these false gods that people are serving today. You never heard that. You never heard any white nationalists say anything like that. You never heard, as you can see, you never heard that, they're attacking or they're criticizing Loki, which is Thor's adopted brother. You never heard them criticizing Loki, saying, oh, well, I didn't like the way he was mistreating his own people. You never heard none of this stuff from these white nationalists, or these these pro-white nationalists. You never heard that from them. And as you can see, Thor and his adopted brother, they fought, and now they got back. They became family. By the third I believe by the third movie or something like that, they brought them together and to fight a bigger enemy. And to me that was a beautiful thing. But you did not hear any type of criticism from any white nationalists or any white power uh, dude. You never heard any criticism. They realize it's only a comic book, and they just to entertain children, right? So let me see something. So I want to just throw that out there, right? So if even with Captain America, I never heard any white nationalists criticize Captain America, talking about, well, he don't Captain America, he didn't I have not seen, they didn't show Captain America go up against the people in the Illuminati or the secret society or the people or the big or the bankers that's running this country. You don't, like the Rockefellers and the Morgan Stanleys and all that stuff. You don't hear none of these white nationalists, these pro-white nationalists, criticizing Captain America. You don't hear them criticizing his best friend, Bucky, where they used to, and again, Captain America and Bucky was enemies, and now later on they became friends. So they show definitely some unity. So you don't see them you don't hear about these white nationalists criticizing Captain America and Bucky. So but when it comes down to the Black Panther, when it comes down to the Black Panther movie, you hear all these so-called coonish revolutionaries coming out of nowhere and bashing the movie. Now, and I had went hard, and let me say this. Let me do something here real quick. Put my background. Oh shoot, I can't do it. Okay. I thought I can do it. Oh shoot. That's crazy. What will let me? That's strange. All right. Guess what? I can't do it on here. All right. So I heard so many criticism about from these coonish neverlutionaries, to the point, and I kept saying, it's only a comic book. It's only a comic book. And I heard so many criticisms. I heard one woman, she said, "Oh, I didn't like what Killmonger he picked up this black woman and from the neck." One girl, what's her name, Rashida, the dark-skinned activist, she's criticized, "Oh, the people wasn't dark enough." Then you had some other criticism talking about, well, they didn't go and attack the white oppressors. They didn't and they were saying T'Challa was a sellout and all this other stuff. They didn't know how to differentiate reality from fiction. And I kept saying, this is not a documentary. This is fake. This is fiction. This is only a comic book for the children. And they was like, oh, da 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 da. I was like, okay. So I said, all right, let's go by your logic. Just say, for example, T'Challa went with his cousin Killmonger. He said, okay, you know what? We're going to kill all the oppressors. We're going to kill the enemy. We're going to kill the oppressor, and we're going to liberate our people. You know, we're going to get out. You know, we're going to do it. I'll follow you, right? But you're forgetting that the other white superheroes that's going to protect their people. You're forgetting the Incredible Hulk. You're forgetting Iron Man. You're forgetting Thor. You're forgetting Captain Marvel. You're forgetting all these, the X-Men. You're forgetting all these Marvels that's going to try to stop Killmonger and T'Challa. And let me tell you something. It's going to be a lot of death. Ain't nobody winning that. Nobody's not going to win that. And after everything is all, even with the technology that T'Challa has in Wakanda, that is not going to be enough, because you got all these, you know, white superheroes, Captain America or whatever. You don't think they're going to jump and they're going to try to stop him? So it's going to be a lot of death, and trust me, no one's not going to win that. No one's not going to win that. And you know who's going to win at the end? Thanos, because you can't leave him out. He's going to be real easy to get the stones, and that's it. Right? Ain't nobody winning that. So y'all forgot that. Then you forgot the token black folks that's going to side with with Iron Man or whatever. Like you got, what's his name, the Falcon. You got the guy, what's his name, who the Don Cheadle played as his what's his name? I'm gonna look him up. What's his name? Give me 1 second. He played. What's he played in Iron Man? I'm trying to. What was his name? Ah, shoot, forgot his name. He played. What's his name? I think it was War Machine. I think that was his name. I think he played War Machine because he had the Iron Man suit and he had all these guns on him. So I think that was his name, War Machine. So, you know, he's not going to betray Iron Man. He's not going to betray Iron Man. You know, Falcon's not going to betray. So you have a lot of these token sidekicks that will align themselves with their with their white friends or whatever. So no one's not going to win that war. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed. No one's not going to win. So that logic wouldn't make any sense if T'Challa just went with Killmonger to liberate black people, right? So that wouldn't make any sense. So then we could look at another hand. Just say, for example, that just say, for example, that okay, T'Challa and Killmonger defeated everybody. The Hulk, Thor, they wiped out everybody. They defeated everybody. But there's one person that y'all forgetting. There's one person that y'all forgetting. It's Thanos. Y'all forgetting Thanos. And let me tell you something. We already know, anybody that saw Infinity Wars, anybody that saw Endgames, Thanos is really hard to beat. And even he fought Thor and Captain America, by himself. So Black Panther don't stand a chance. Killmonger ain't gonna stand a chance against Thanos. And plus, especially if he got those power rings, it's just not gonna happen. So Thanos win again. So what is y'all coonish neverlutionaries? What are y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna clap and say, you know what? They did a good job anyway. They put up a good fight. It's pointless. What's the point? What is the point? Because what is the point of going through all that and not winning? Because it's the whole purpose of winning a war is to tell about it, is to live and tell about it, to pass down to the next generation, tell that story to the next generation. So, it will be a pointless fight. So if we go by the neverlutionary logic, either way, it won't make any sense. Because again, if T'Challa went with Killmonger and start liberating black people from the white oppressors around the world, or even in the United States, or even global around the world, then they will have to go up against they'd have to face Iron Man, the Hulk, all these thousands and thousands of white superheroes that would defend their people. So it will, either way, how you look at it, it would never be a win situation if that actually happened. Now, granted, a lot of Stan Lee's movies or comic book movies came from real live African experiences, right? Let's look at Blade, which Blade is a Marvel comic book character, right? Blade, who was a half vampire, and the reason why he was a half vampire because while his mother, while he was in his womb, his mother's womb, and while she was having him, she was attacked by a white vampire. And this is the reason why he became part half vampire. She wasn't raped. She was already, his mother was, again, I'm going to say this again, Blade mother was not raped. Okay, she was not raped. She was already pregnant, right? But just that I think she was coming, she was getting off of work or whatever like that. Some white vampire bit her, and I guess the poison or whatever got into her wound and affected Blade. So that's how Blade became a half vampire. And this is the reason why Blade have this hatred for basically white vampires. If you really look at the movie, that's all he's been killing. And if you look at the people in power, the white vampire elites, they were all Caucasian. They were all white. And there was a lot of truth in that. There was a lot of truth in that. A lot of Stan Lee's movies came from African oppression. You know, black mothers was pregnant, they have been abused, they've been raped, and you know, the children would grow up hating their oppressor. So a lot of that stuff based on true events. Just like the part, anybody that saw the part when he faced Frost and he was outside, and Frost covered himself with, he was outside, and Frost is full, he's full vampire. Frost is full vampire. So but what he did in order to come out, in order to stay in the sun, he had to cover himself with sunscreen, but only a very short time, because that sunscreen will wear off a little bit at some point. And he did not understand why Blade could stay in the sun. Remember, they called Blade the what? The day walker, because he could walk in the day as well as the night. So Frost didn't understand. He was like, yo, what is your secret? How come you can stay in the sun and I can't? And if you want to look at the comic book way, he was half vampire. That's the reason why he could stay in the sun. If you want to look at the science way, his melanin protected him from the sun. This is the reason why we are called sun people, because, you know, we can stay in the sun longer than any other race of people. Right? So, and you have more, that's the reason why more Europeans with pale skin has to always have to have sunscreen. So that was based on true events. So a lot, you know, so I thought that was you know, I love Blade, very good movie. I enjoyed it, and they supposed to make a reboot. They supposed to reboot another Blade movie. I don't know who's going to be playing Blade, but I think Wesley Snipes did an excellent job, and I don't think no one can do a better Blade than Wesley Snipes, in my opinion. So I enjoyed all of them because it was based on real events, right? So even with Black Panther, it was also based on real events. Now, a lot of times, people have missed these neverlutionary, you know, who don't do any type of research, who don't believe in scholarship, who don't believe in science, who don't like Africa and all these other craziness. They hasn't looked at the positive of it. They're not looking at it as in a comic book that was an inspiration. Okay, they haven't done that. Which to me, and I'm going to show you how important the movie was. Well, first of all, I'm going to show you how it definitely affect our children. Now, I want you to, this is why the movie was important. It showed kids that we could be superheroes and supervillains. And our children can have a choice. You had a lot of white kids love Thor. You had a lot of white kids that love Loki. And when they had costumes, they either was Thor or some of them were Loki. Even when Captain America, you had Captain America, you had Bucky, where a lot of kids loved Captain America. You had a lot of white kids that loved Bucky. When they had costumes for Halloween, they had choices. But my question is to the neverlutionaries, why do you feel that our kids can have that same type of choice when it comes down to people that looks like them, people in their image? That's my question. So when you see things like this, where you see the inspiration through our kids, that they could be a super villain and a superhero, and they can say, hey, you know what? I can when I dress up, I can look like my favorite superhero, my favorite supervillain. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why the movie was so important. Okay, and it was so inspiring. And so we got to give our children choices, and they can see their superheroes and their supervillains in their own image. Why do our kids have to look like white? They're the white superheroes, Superman and Thor, Captain America. These characters don't look like they don't look like our children. Our children can't relate to them. So this is a beautiful thing, and our kids need to see more of this. Okay, as well as Blade and the rest of Cyborg on DC Comics. You have a character called Cyborg. You have a lot of African superheroes and supervillains as well that people need to see. So it's a good thing where our children get to learn and to be proud that they can have someone that they can to look up to as far as in this superhero world. Also in the movie, that it taught the Black woman to be herself. There was one where the sister had the weave on, the wig on, the straight headed weave on, and she was like, she want to know why I'm wearing this. What is this thing on my head? So they were saying, of course they was like, well, you just need to do it to disguise yourself just for temporarily. And she kept saying, well, I can't wait to take this crap off my head. So when they came to the fighting scene, I think it was doing a part where they was at like a casino in a Black Panther movie. That's the first thing she took off was that wig. So they show a lot of sisters wearing their natural hair, and even the ones that was bald, they look just as beautiful. And they were showing our daughters that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to wear your kinky hair. It's okay to wear your hair natural. It's okay to shave your hair and look just as beautiful. So I thought these are significance why the movie was important. They actually showed T'Challa's sister, who was a very intelligent, beautiful sister, who was who was the most smartest girl in the world, who studied advanced technology. That was inspiring. A woman, a sister that knew science. And at least she knew who the enemy was. She told the white FBI guy, she said she called him a colonizer. So they already letting you know who the enemy was. Okay? So you got to look at it on that point. Now, Stan Lee, of course, he took the Black Panther movie from the Black Panther Party. This is where he got the idea from. We always talked about reconnecting ourselves to Africa because we was robbed of our culture. We was robbed of our language. We was robbed who we are as a people. So Stan Lee took that idea and put it through a comic book. Now, of course, they didn't play these movies or these cartoons as much that they did with the Hawk, or the Fantastic Four. They didn't play it. They played a lot of that. Iron Man was new. Iron Man was underrated. It wasn't as popular as before. Even Stan Lee even said that. He said it didn't become popular. Iron Man didn't become popular until the movies came out. But Iron Man was very underrated. But they show a lot of Thor. They show a lot of X-Men, the Hawk. All these Marvels was they showed all the popular ones. Spider-Man, very popular. That's Marvel. So Black Panther was very underrated. And now they bringing this stuff to life and where you can learn it. So the movie was very important. It was very important, very inspiring. Okay. And what else? I'm just trying to think. Also, too, they also talk about DNA. They brought in science. So we always talk the technology. We already got to the technology part with the T'Challa's sister. I forgot her name. But then we talk about the DNA, where that it was a conflict between black people in Africa and black people who was from abroad. So remember, T'Challa came, and T'Challa said, "Oh, he told Killmonger, you're not my people." And I'm not gonna understand why he said it, because Killmonger act more of a European than an African. So he was talking about your mind is European. So this is the reason why he said, you're not one of us. So Killmonger said, well, I am one of you. I'm part of you. So when he put the lip down, you saw the DNA. That was DNA. That was, and that just shows you our connection. I'm going to show you a video. Let me see what this is. Okay. Let me show you this. Let me screen share this. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you what Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa in Black Panther. I'm gonna let him talk about DNA and how important it is. He's gonna explain to you how important it is to know and get connected to your history. Now, I want y'all to pay a close attention to what he says, because this was deep. This was deep. Let me cut this up. And listen what this brother has said.
I did a DNA test to try to connect to where I'm actually from. That's something that we, as African Americans, can do now that we couldn't do before. It's not really an excuse for you to say I don't know what ethnic group I come from, because there's a test that you can take to find that out. And so during this process, I went up the branch of my tree to find where I'm from through AfricanAncestry.com. I think we're all searching for things because we're looking for those rites of passage that have been left behind. At the same time, I feel like T'Challa has a tradition, and he has a connection to his ancestors that I long for. I long for that, and I feel like Killmonger long. They're two sides of the same. Yeah, but as an African American, you're always going to feel like, until you make that connection, that there's a disconnect there. what I did is I took a DNA test.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I'm 97% East African, West African.
No, see, that's the wrong test.
Which one you took? Like you got to
You took Ancestry.
yeah.
I took African Ancestry.
That's the difference.
So African Ancestry can tell you the
Now the brother said you took the wrong test. He said that you took the wrong test. So the brother, Charlemagne said, well, what's the difference? So he explained to you the difference. Now, did Ancestry.com, that's a white-owned company. So the AfricanAncestry.com, this is what I took as well, is black-owned and is located in Washington, D.C. So he's telling you, so right now he explained to you why it's important. Number one, this would he explained to you why it's important to take the right test. He told Charlemagne, you took the wrong test. And listen what he says.
specific ethnic groups come from. So not only, if you just know.
Now, I'm gonna replay that again.
Country,
Let me play that again.
So not only, if you just know, a country, that's still the European borders.
Let me see. Let me go back.
A country. So not only, so African Ancestry can tell you the specific ethnic group that you come from. So not only, if you just know, a country, that's still the European borders to a certain degree.
Gotcha.
But if you know that you're Yoruba from Nigeria, then you can now you can pinpoint specific customs, rituals, that are part of your past. I know that I'm Jola from Guinea-Bissau. I'm leaving all the stuff that I'm Limba from Sierra Leone. That's a more specific. I can go talk to somebody. There that specifically knows, this is your background.
I need to do that.
Now you see, and so that's why it's African ancestry. African ancestry is very important. This is the reason why African ancestry is important, because they tell you specifically what tribe you are from. So I'm from the Mbundu tribe, the same tribe that Queen Nzinga is from in Angola. So that's why African ancestry is totally different and very important to the rest of these DNAs out here. And it's black owned as well, which is another good thing. So that's what the movie is definitely showed you in the movie, that the DNA. So you talk about science, right? So it's telling you, hey, find out what tribe you from. Find out where not only where in what country in Africa, but you can find out what tribe or where in Angola or where in Nigeria or whatever it is. So we can't go by what Europeans will tell you. We got to go by because we are scientists. We are naturally scientists. Naturally, we are scientist people. Okay, because we always trying to find out the truth. Okay, so, but the neverlutionaries, they don't care about that, because most of the neverlutionaries, they don't believe in science. They don't believe in DNA. They don't believe, like I said, they don't believe in scholarship. They don't believe in research. They don't believe in, they don't believe in nothing. Okay, they want to stay home, do nothing. They want to be what you call keyboard warriors. That's what they want to be. They want to be keyboard warriors, you know, type thugs. That's what they want to do. You know, they want to criticize progress. There's a reason why I have no respect for them. They're not looking at the positive that came out of this. This is the reason why I love that movie. I saw it more than once. I went and supported the movie. Okay? Then I want to show you something else. Then you're missing the black love. We always talking about black love and we all should come together and show and black woman, black man and black woman, you know, and child and the three trinities. You know, we want to show more black love, right? And this was in the movie. Okay, this was in the movie. And no one talks about these things. No one talks about the black love between the black man, black woman. You know, this is a very a beautiful image that was in the movie. And the neverlutionaries, they don't talk about this. So it shows you and it teaches you how to love, you know, the black man to love his woman and the black woman to love her black man. It shows you, you know, it shows you that that we're science people. It shows you that we're very advanced people, and it shows a lot of beautiful, positive stuff in the movie. Okay. So y'all forgetting about that. Y'all don't want to talk about the black love. Y'all don't want to talk about how important DNA is. You don't want to talk about how important technology is. Y'all don't want to talk about nothing except y'all want to criticize that they didn't allow Killmonger to kill the white oppressors. Or they joined with the enemy. And again, if they went with y'all logic, then they would have to face all the white superheroes like Thor and the Hulk. And trust me, I don't see T'Challa and Killmonger winning that. And even if they did win it, they would have to go through Thanos. What Thanos is, they won't be able to beat him. So don't tell me that if according to your logic, if you wrote a story like that, which they're gonna end up, which T'Challa and Killmonger will end up losing, you could just sit there and say, well, that was a good movie. At least they tried. It'll be pointless. And guess what? I would hate that movie. I would hate it. Because if you're gonna win a war, you gotta win and live to tell about it. That's how I look at it. If you're gonna be in the war, you gotta win to tell about it. Okay? And another thing too, people forgot who directed the movie. You always want to talk about, oh, Disney, you know, they made a lot of money for Disney. So what? So what? All the actors who was in it, they got paid very nicely too. So what? They deserve it, and they got paid. They got paid very nicely. So you have a director who was a brother who directed the movie. Now, anybody don't know who this guy is? His name is Ryan Coogler. 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 Ryan Coogler. And he's the one who directed Black Panther. You don't think that's inspirational? You don't think a brother who's not mulatto, he's not a white dude, he's an all brother that directed a wonderful, wonderful movie that made billions of dollars. Now, let's do a background check. Is he married to a white woman? Is he married to a red, brown woman? Well, let's see who he's married to. This is his wife. He has a beautiful wife. She's a sister. So he's what you call definitely a thoroughbred. He's thorough. He's real. He's 100% brother. And you damn right. You damn right I'm going to support this brother because I know that money is going to be I know that money is shared with a sister and I'm happy. I love it. I love it. You damn right I supported Black Panther. I went to IMAX to see it because I want this brother to get my money. He deserved it because he married a beautiful sister. She's a sister. So he's definitely real. And you don't think that's inspirational? But you know what the neverlutionaries did? This is what this is what y'all did. You sellouts. This is what y'all did. This is who you put your money in. This is who you put your money in. This sellout punk. This is who you put your money in. Nat Parker, who did that garbage ass movie, Birth of the Nation. It was trash, and it had nothing to do of the words of Nat Turner. It didn't even, everybody read the confession of Nat Turner. Supposedly came from his words. I didn't see nothing, that related to the book that I read that came out of Nat Turner's words. It was trash. I did not support it, and I damn sure this punk, this sellout, was not going to get none of my money. He was not going to get none of my money. What? So he could take my money and pass it down to his white bitch? No. But y'all neverlutionaries, y'all went out there, you supported him, you gave your money to him, and now he gave your money to his Neanderthal chick. And now you got, and I bet you anything, you got those you bought the DVDs, you bought the Blu-rays, and you say, oh, this is Black Power, this is real. That Birth of the Nation was bullshit, and I did not support it. This sellout was not going to get none of my money, but you neverlutionaries, you supported him. So y'all supposedly conscious, want to be conscious Negroes that want to bash Black Panther, which I'm glad they're coming out with a sequel. I can't wait to the sequel. And then, yes, I'm going to spend my money, and I'm going to go and probably I'm going to not only see it on IMAX, but I'm going to probably see it on 3D IMAX. And I'm willing to spend the $30 because this brother deserved it. This brother deserved my money. He deserved my money. And he is an inspiration. And I hope he make more movies. And he did say that he's in the process of making movies of real African history, where he's going to have real black people, and he was the one that had brothers and sisters from African people from abroad and connecting them with African people in the motherland to do a wonderful movie like the Black Panther movie. And again, you have learned a lot of our history was in the movie. And we got to, you know, stop criticizing our work. We got to stop criticizing progress. We got to stop doing that. And honestly, I have to, you know, that's the reason why I stay away from something. Let me take this out. I have to stay away from this. Why is this like this? No, let me close that. And I have to stay away from this because it's so I don't know why is this. It says I'm trying to close this out. If you close program, you might lose information. Okay, whatever. So we have to be more. We, you know, and you know, so like I said, we got to stay away from the neverlutionary critics because they didn't criticize the Thor movies, they didn't criticize the Iron Man movies, they didn't criticize none of these movies that that came out before the Black Panther movie even came out. People like Rashida, what's her name? Rashida Schroeder, whatever her name is, the so-called dark-skinned activist. She claimed that she didn't hear about the Black Panther comic. She didn't read none of the comic books. She wasn't familiar with it. And then when she finally saw it with her daughter, she's bashing the movie, talking about, oh, these people wasn't dark enough. Really? And I'm like, you know, you get out of here with that bullshit. You know, I never heard the white nationalists start saying, oh, well, I don't like the Captain America movie because they wasn't white enough. Never heard them say nothing like that. And you see, most of these neverlutionaries, their criticism is not violent. It don't make any sense. It has no value to it. So why are we listening to these people who not producing anything? You know, and again, like I said, I saw Black Panther, at least 5 times, and I have the DVD. I bought it. I bought the DVD. I got my DVD. I got my not DVD, Blu-ray. So it's a so I thought it was an excellent film. And again, I'm gonna if the sequel coming out, I'm definitely gonna support it. But and it wasn't inspirational to our children. It was definitely inspirational to our kids, and that's what's more important. And people forgot about that. People forgot about that, how important it is to our children. And these are grown people complaining about the fucking movie like they're children. They're like, why are you complaining? The movie's not about you. It's about the kids. It's a comic book movie. And if you're going to criticize the comic book, if you're going to criticize the movie, criticize that, hey, you know what? It didn't really fit the comic book. I'm a big comic book head. It didn't fit the comic book. I mean, say something like that, but don't make it like this was based on a true story. This was not based. Yes, it came from true life events, but it's not. It's a fictional movie. It's not a real. It's not. It's not. It's not a. It's not a documentary. It's not. It's not a. It didn't. It didn't. It's not a something that happened that actually existed. It's a comic book. It's fictional, and of course they took things that came from true events. Of course, that's how you make things interesting. Just like the X-Men movie, right? Stan Lee again took the comic book of the X-Men from the conflict between Malcolm X and Dr. King, right? How Magneto was Malcolm X and Professor Xavier was Dr. King. Now, of course, Magneto, he hated humans. He hated the humans. You know, he wanted to destroy them because he saw the mistreatment, how the humans were mistreating the mutants. And of course, the mutants represent us, Black people, African people, and how we was being mistreated in this country. But Professor Xavier said, no, as long as we become decent citizens and respect the law and stuff like that, these humans would see past that. They would see past that we're mutants. So of course there was a conflict, but he got that conflict from the 60s, where Dr. King versus Malcolm X conflict. And you saw it again in the Planet of the Apes, right? Where one of the apes who was raised by humans was Caesar. And in the Planet of the Apes, in the first one, you know how the other apes, they didn't like Caesar because they said, he's not one of us. He was raised by humans. He even act like a human. And Caesar had to prove himself because Caesar was also a victim. And he had to prove himself that, hey, I am one of you. And it's not my fault that I was raised by or conquered by my oppressor. If you look at the dawn of the apes, you had, what's his name, Cuba versus Caesar. Cuba was like a Magneto. He was like a Malcolm X. And he hated the humans. And he was telling Caesar, look what they done to me. Look what they done to our people. Not our people, but look what they done to our species, what these humans had done to us. And Caesar was like, I already know that. And don't get me wrong, if they attack, then we're going to defend ourselves. But they're not bothering us, so we're going to leave them alone. But Kuma was like, no. We got to get them now because they're planning. While we sit here on our backs, they're planning to kill us. So he had to take out Caesar, who he was trying to kill Caesar, so he could be a leader to get after the humans. But Kumba made one mistake. He started mistreating his own. And one of the code is, ape do not kill ape. Ape do not kill ape. And he killed his own son because his son did not want to go along with it. He said, no, this ain't right, Dad. This ain't right. You know? And he killed his son. You know, it wasn't really, it didn't matter if he killed the humans or whatever. That wasn't even, no one cared about that. And when Caesar heard about that, he said, no, we got to stop Cuba because he's killing our own people. He's mistreating our own people, and we cannot have that. And even to this day, and I remember I was in a movie theater, and I heard a brother. He said, "Yo, they talking about us. This is our story." So they telling you these movies are talking to you, and no one's not taking heed of these movies because, of course, we don't follow no code. We don't believe in a code, which there's always been a code. African people didn't slaughter each other. You know, yes, there's been tribal warfare, but we didn't believe in killing and slaughtering and cutting off heads and cutting off technical and doing all this, eating each other and all that crazy nonsense. We didn't do none of that stuff to our people. And if we capture our own and they were prisoner of war, they said, okay, since we didn't separate our people's family, they said, look, you're going to work over here and you're going to live over here. This is your area. You're going to take care of the fields. And they brought their family with them. We didn't believe in separating our people. So that's what I believe that was his name, Cuba. He started mistreating, putting his people in cages who didn't want to go along with him. What he should have done was had a meeting and said, look, those that wants to come with me, come with me. Those that wants to still following Caesar, y'all can stay here and hold the fort and protect the females and the children. And those that want to roll with Cuba, rolled with him. That's how I would have did it. I didn't have a problem with what he did. That's why Dawn of the Apes was the shit. I think that was the best movie ever. But I was a little disappointed when he killed his son, because your son is your legacy. And matter of fact, he wanted to bring his son along to show how big and bad he was, where he should have said, yo, son, no, you stay where you at. Because I might not come back, but you is my legacy. You're supposed to continue my legacy. And this is what he should have told his son, no, you fall back and you hold the fort. But he wanted to show his son that, hey, I'm big and bad. You know, look what your dad is about to do. Which I can understand that, because you want your son to be like, yo, my dad is a gangster. But at some point, you got to be like, no, you got to protect your family. You got to say, no, you stay here. I'm going to do it. And if I go out, I'm going to go out like a soldier, and you remember me that I was a soldier. So our stories are being told in these movies through these directors, and we don't even take heed of that. So Stan Lee, was famous of taking our struggles and putting it through comic books, right? So and these are reason why these the comic books were so successful. The cartoons were so successful because I used to watch the X-Men cartoon. Couldn't wait to come on. Couldn't wait to watch it, coming on Saturday mornings. Love the comic books. So and now the movies are now becoming very popular as well, making a lot of money. But I would never discredit, and I would never discredit the importance of the Black Panther movie, because they show a lot of significance as far as our history, like I said, they show a lot of black love between a black man and black woman. They show a lot of science and beautiful African people, and you see and yes, there were infighting, of course, but you had a lot of infighting in Europe. Every continent of people, there always been a lot of disagreements, a lot of infighting. Please don't act like black people never infight. Black people been infighting. There've been a lot of infighting ever since ancient Kemet. Stop it. Let's stop it. So this is what happens when you don't know your history, you don't know who you are, but then you see something because you don't understand it. You don't understand it, but then you want to criticize, you want to bash, and it's not right. It's not right. So we can't allow fuckery. And I'm not going to allow these neverlutionaries, these ignorant, coonish neverlutionaries to come and bash the work or the hard work that our people have done to educate our children as well as entertain them. Our children was learning and being entertained at the same time. Think about that. They were learning, and at the same time, they were entertained. And again, a brother had directed it. He directed it, and when you direct something, you can put your own spin into it. That's his baby. He directed the movie, and he put his own because he done the research. Okay? So you got to look at it at that point. So this reason why the movie made money like it did, where that you want to take a so-called true life story like Birth of the Nation that was a total failure and it deserved to be to deserve less money, in my opinion, because the movie was garbage, it was trash. That's the reason why I did not support the movie Birth of the Nation. Why should I? Net Parker it's a sellout. I'm not supporting that. That's why the movie didn't do so well, and it should not do well. I won't support it. So we need to start supporting real thoroughbred people in our race. So this is the reason why, and I want to just clear the air with this misconception of the Black Panther movie, because you got a lot of hate, a lot of self-hate going around, and I'm sick and tired of it. So I just had to make this video because it was definitely important. It's definitely important for our children, and even as well as in adults. It's very important. So I enjoyed the movie. Excellent job. Thanks to my brother Ryan Coogler. He did an excellent job, and he's definitely a thoroughbred, and he's not a sellout. He got a beautiful wife, real sister, and I hope to see more of his movies. Okay? Hope to see more of his movies. And before I go, I want to say this, and I'm almost forgotten. I was talking about Blade in earlier in this movie, how I said we're sun people. And when I was telling you how Frost was asking Blade, well, how you could be able to be in the sun, right? Well, I was watching this movie, classic movie by the Hughes brothers. And anybody don't know the Hughes brothers, they the one who directed Minister Society, Dead Presidents. And so, I was watching the Book of Eli, and which they directed that too. And there was one scene where you seen Denzel Washington. He wakes up, and he's blind, and he wakes up, and he goes to the window, and he feels the sun hitting his face, and he closed his eyes, and he could feel it, and he needed that energy. He needed that vitamin D, because we're sun people. Anybody that knows about the Bible, which I think the Bible should be thrown out because it's been plagiarized. The Bible says that the sun, S-U-N, and you can look it up, the sun, S-U-N, is our Lord and shield. It's our Lord and shield. Somebody fucked up. Because the Europeans that took that, they try to humanize it. They try to make it, for that's why Jesus is not real. Our people worship the sun or praise the sun because they give us energy, they give us life. So when you watch the Book of Eli, you will see him goes towards the window and he's closing his eyes. He can feel the sun beaming on his face. And it was kind of like, oh, that feels so good, like just having that sun on you. And when they said the sun walked on water, you could see the sun coming up. When the sun rises, it looked like it's on water. That's when they said Jesus walked on water. That's where they got that shit from. So remember, the sun he said, Chad said, Jesus is real. He walks on my car. That's funny. Yeah, so I just want to make my, just throw that out there. Because that showed a lot of truth in these movies. So we watch these movies and we just look for the entertainment. We don't really analyze it. So this is the reason why I don't get into the whole hype of these neverlutionary people who haven't been nowhere, don't travel nowhere, always criticizing the accomplishments of African people. I don't get into that. Okay, so I'm going to end this. I didn't want to make this a long video, but I hope people will look at this video and take the positive of it and stop. And like I said, I don't fuck with neverlutionaries. I don't deal with these people. These people, if you do a background check, a lot of them they just type warriors. That's all they do. They just type, and they don't do a goddamn thing for nothing. They're not producing nothing. They want to sit there and criticize good people who's actually producing. Okay, so I don't listen to these people. So again, I want to tell the people thanks for watching, and again, stay away from negative people. Stay away from the neverlutionaries. Don't support them. Don't even listen to them. And we got to start doing background checks on people before we start listening to these internet gossipers. Okay, check their background. Who are they with? You know, what their kids look like. You know, so we got to start doing some background check on these neverlutionaries. Okay, so again, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.